Today's news.
Israel strikes Iran.
This operation will continue for as many days as it takes.
Man lives to tell about Air India crash.
There are cases where people can survive an unsurvivable accident.
Court battle over troops in L.A.
This is a showdown.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, President Trump speaks out on social media after Israel staged a military operation against Iran, warning more attacks will be brutal and saying Iran must make a nuclear deal, quote, before there's nothing left. The U.S. says it was not part of Israel's military action. One strike is reported to have hit the country's main nuclear enrichment facility. Here's CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
Roaring off to attack Iran, Israel says 200 fighter jets struck more than 100 targets in the capital Tehran and dozens of sites across the country in Operation Rising Lion, including Iran's heart of uranium enrichment, Natanz, with its thousands of centrifuges deep underground, said Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs.
Israeli warplanes also hit nuclear sites in Isfahan, Tabriz, and Iraq, killing leading nuclear scientists. At least 3 top Iranian generals were also killed, including Hossein Salami, commander-in-chief of the Revolutionary Guard Corps. Residents called for Israel's destruction. These are Israel's final breaths. God willing, said this nurse. Some Israelis preparing for Iran's promised retaliation also invoked God. God is always to that.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe is at the White House this morning.
The president this morning says he warned Iran a potential Israeli military strike on the country would be much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told, because Israel uses American military equipment and, quote, they know how to use it. He adds there is still time to make this slaughter come to an end. Iran must make a deal before there's nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire.
Now to India. CBS's Anna Corin has the latest on the deadly Air India crash.
Miraculously, a British man, Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, walked away from the crash. His brother in England described the moment the family heard from him.
The video called my dad. As he crashed, he said, I'll pay cash. I don't know how I'm alive, how I exited the plane. It's a miracle we survived.
This is India's worst aviation disaster in over 25 years. Here at the crash site, forensic teams are on the scene, officials are arriving, ambulances are here. We're getting reports that there are multiple pieces of body parts littered throughout the wreckage, and it will take DNA testing to know the final death count.
There's an investigation in Boston after a JetBlue flight landing from Chicago rolled off a runway and onto a patch of grass. This man was on board.
As we were landing, we kind of bounced a little bit.
No one was hurt. President Trump got an early win in court in the battle over his move to send troops to Los Angeles. First, a federal judge blocked his deployments, returning control to California. The White House appealed, and an appeals court blocked the original ruling, so nothing changes. CBS's Carter Evans says more on what happened when the Homeland Security chief spoke in L.A. with a U.S. senator in the room.
California Senator Alex Padilla, dressed in casual attire, interrupted Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem during a news conference.
Senator Alex Padilla.
Padilla didn't identify himself until he was pushed from the room. He was then forced to the ground and handcuffed. Secretary Noem spoke about the incident after the news conference and said she did not recognize the senator.
I wish that he would have reached out and identified himself and let us know who he was and that he wanted to talk.
After the incident, Noem's top deputy wrote on social media, Padilla chose disrespectful political theater as he, quote, lunged at Secretary Noem.
I was there peacefully. If this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers.
Well, President Trump has suggested there might be a possible change in his immigration crackdown, acknowledging yesterday it has hurt the farming and hotel industries.
Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that.
The American Farm Bureau says if there aren't enough workers, there could be supply chain disruptions. 4 minutes after the hour.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for...
Well, that's today's news. It's 54 degrees in Fairfield, California. I didn't hear any good news.